And I'm curious, in some way, was your depiction in kids representative of your actual lifestyle growing up in Manhattan? Not so much the dark parts, but just the sense of belonging that skateboarding allowed you to have?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because when I watched mid 90s, I was explaining to people that that was actually closer to my upbringing. Like that, I just connected with that movie in a way I didn't connect with kids, even though, or it was almost like my life was like mid 90s until the time period of kids. Like it was very innocent or whatever. And then I really started hanging out in the city and kind of things got a little more dangerous or whatever. But yeah, I think mid 90s does a great job of depicting like my experience. Kids also was good at depicting some of it, but like being from New Jersey, um, like New York skaters are known for being like jerks, you know, like they're not nice guys. And being from Jersey, you're always the underdog, and people always make fun of you and talk smack and whatever. But we had like a strong crew, and so we didn't let any of that affect us, Um, and then there were certain guys in the New York skate scene, Harold Hunter, Peter Bisi. There were a few guys that were not just generally nice, and they would be nice to everybody. Um, but and this is when skateboarding was like at a really low point as far as being like popular. Um, so nobody really had any legs to stand on or was better than anyone else. It was just an ego game, and so I also wrestle with that idea of is my kid going to be entitled simply for the fact he was raised in New York? Like is that enough for him to think that he's better than somebody? Because
Yeah.
that's the kind of New Yorkers I grew up around, where they were like, "Well, I'm from New York. You're from New Jersey." So, um, but
It's
yeah,
funny.
I always say
I
that
say that to myself often because I don't know how long we'll live in New York or, if he'll end up going to high school here or whatever. But I would say like the one thing no one can ever take, like you were born in Manhattan. Like nobody's born in Manhattan. You know what I mean? Like you'll always have that at the very least, which is it's kind of cool.
yeah. Um, but I always say that skateboarding is like the root of everything I've ever done since. Like, and you know, I skateboarded to work today. Like sometimes, I'll see people on longboards and I'll be like, oh, that's so lame. And then I'll look down and I'll be riding a skateboard and I'm like, what am I going to be doing this when I'm 50? It's like, it's, um, it's, it's just, it's just strange. I'm still very much like aware of what's happening in skateboarding. A lot of my friends are either pro skaters or, have worked in the industry or were pros at one point. I'm closely affiliated with a lot of people at Supreme just because that we like kind of grew up at the same time period. So it still plays like a huge part of my life, which is like um, interesting considering I'm like on the outside. I I got hit by a car when I was 27, so my left leg is all messed up. Like they almost amputated it. That's how bad it was damaged. So I can't really feel my left leg to like I can run, but that's about it. But like to do tricks is like out of the question. So I'm basically just like a longboarder at this point. I just cruise,
But
and
it still represents a very important role in your life and like obviously in your heart
yeah,
too, in terms of community and memories in New York City.
yeah.